and gentlemen, you all know my first guest from the Academy Award-winning film Rocky, and of course all these other films. Now he is the host of the new NBC reality show, The Contender. Please welcome Sylvester Stallone. Be working out constantly.
Constantly.
You must be working out 24/7 because I went into the dressing room just to say hi to you and maybe see you without your shirt and but you just incredible.
It's an old bad habit. It's an old bad habit. You
right.
know, but you know, when you're doing a show with The Contender, you get all these guys that are in great shape. You're kind of inspired.
Right. You get inspired to stay in shape and
totally.
You
got to keep up with them.
I want to ask you first, we're going to get to The Contender in a second, but I've been thinking about you lately because AMC is showing all the Rocky movies this week. And sorry, they're great. They hold up.
I can't give you your money back on those.
No. They hold up. Let me tell you something. They hold up. I don't think anyone's complaining about the Rocky movies. And so I watched. My wife's getting mad at me.
Why?
My wife's getting mad at me because she goes to bed. She's like, you should come to bed now. I'm like, I'll be there in a second. I'm just going to watch a little bit of Rocky or Rocky 2 or Rocky 3, and then I stay up because you got to see it through. You got to see how he's doing. And I've noticed something about Rocky that I haven't noticed before is that Rocky has a strange fighting style. He doesn't defend himself at all.
Right.
In any of the movies, your hands are down here by your sides, and it's just you getting hit. And then finally throwing a punch.
He feels so bad when the other guy misses.
Right.
That he just doesn't have it in him. So he's just trying to be polite.
He's a nice guy.
Hit me, you'll feel better.
Yeah, because I would think you don't want to watch those movies to learn how to fight because there's no defense.
No, it's not. Absolutely not. And actually, a lot of Italians learned to fight using that style. We're talking to Tony Danza. They were influenced by the Rocky style.
Yeah. It influenced his dancing as well, exactly. I understand. Yeah. Now, you were... I read this once, and I don't know if it's true. It might be one of those, like, sort of urban legends, but that you were on a special diet during the filming of the Rocky movies. And I thought you were on a special diet to improve your physique, but also a special diet to lower your intelligence. That sounds like a joke, but
it didn't take long to get down to about 30. What it was is I was on shellfish. Anything that crawled to the bottom of the sea, so because very high protein and whatever.
Right.
But I didn't realize that they eat bad things down there. They're like God's little crawling bedpans.
Right.
So what happened is after a while I got all this like mercury poisoning. I started listening to things like bluegrass music, walking backwards, giving my phone number,
so you
calling my mother, father.
So you think that affected your acting and sort of like
Yes, and I don't think I rebounded yet, quite frankly. It's as you notice, there's been a lot of like rhinestone and stuff like that. So you can see that I'm still in the kind of like mentally challenged stage.
I understand. You're coming out of it slowly.
Slowly
coming out of it. Now, there's a rumor that there's going to be a Rocky 6. Do you think there might be?
Possible.
It's possible that there would be a Rocky 6.
That's possible. That is very possible.
I've been thinking about it because I've been watching. I'm not lying about this. I've been watching the series lately. You fought, Apollo Creed. You fought Mr. T. You fought Drago. And all of communist Russia, by the way.
Every one of them.
And you fought everybody. And I thought there's one person you haven't fought. And just listen to this pitch for an idea: a time-traveling, turn-of-the-century, bare-fisted Irish boxer. And I could play it. A guy who's just constantly fights in the old style like this.
And what is your favorite punch? Is there a certain kind of like devastating?
He comes in he puts a fist out here and then he just leans in like that.
And with Rocky's defense.
With Rocky's defense. This is good right here. That's a good.
It's a natural.
Think about it.
You know what? Sold.
Sold.
We'll go right to Rocky 7. Rocky 6.
We're going to take a whole studio down with us. Now. You actually, it's funny, I always thought that Rocky was the first script that you ever wrote, but it wasn't. You wrote another script first.
Oh, epic scripts. They were incredible. One was called, like, Cry, Full, Whisper, Empty. Then I wrote one about a kid who came from a very, very wealthy family, became a rock singer, but he had a certain deficiency that if he didn't eat a certain fruit, like bananas, he would have a serotonin problem, go into a coma, and die on his organ.
A rock star who needs to constantly eat bananas or he'll die. I've never heard of an idea like that.
I haven't either. And there's a reason I didn't make it for years and years.
Were you on the shellfish high when you thought of that idea?
No, actually, that came after Rocky.
Oh, I see. Right.
No, I was just on a big-time low. And usually, if you spend a lot of time alone at night when you're broke, this is what comes out, these banana fantasies and things. bad thing. Bad thing.
Did the movie end happily?
No, it actually did. He died on his organ.
Which organ? Oh, yeah. I was going to say. All right. This is a dirty show and unintentionally. Is there? You ever think you'd bring back Rambo? Would you bring back Rambo?
Yeah. You know, I don't know if you bring him back and say, like, a masseuse. Here's your head, here's your arm, here's your foot.
I don't think that would be as good. I don't think people. But, you know, we were thinking about it, like, there's now with you, there's another, you know, with Al-Qaeda, there's a real bad guy for Rambo to go fight.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I think as guys get older, even like superheroes, they don't like to travel as much, so he'll probably take on Mexico. Something close. So you know, go to Cabo.
Rambo's tired. He'll just drive across the border, fight some people in Mexico.
A few Latinos, and you know, they'll come back with him.
Right.
You know, they build up a little relationship. But I think it's better. You know, sun, surf.
Right. And Rambo has a banana deficiency now.
He does have a banana.
These are very strange thoughts. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the current project. Is the Contender. I watched this last night, and you know what I got to say? The Contender. It grabs you. It's very riveting. I thought this show really had me because the stakes are so high on this show. These guys are fighting.
They do.
And last night, I don't want to give anything away if anyone didn't see it, but the person that loses, they're going back home.
Way back.
And it's not like The Apprentice. It feels like the stakes are higher.
No, like in The Apprentice, they get a nice cab. They leave a towering, beautiful apartment building. These people, they go back to, like, first of all, they get hit by a cab. It's like they have nothing. They walk and they go back to a little ramshackle place along a railroad track. I mean, it's really, it almost sounds too bad to be true, but it's true. So there's a lot on the line with these guys. They have such heart, and behind every one of them is a strong woman. Every one of them. That's what makes it so interesting.
Right.
It's because without them, it's like, you know, they have to deal with this fear and this concern and this dread. Do I really? I mean, they have all these muscles, but quite often they don't trust their instincts, and they need a woman back there constantly supporting them.
Right.
And they rise to the occasion.
Now, there's one thing I noticed, and we were talking about this just before the show, the shooting of the fights.
Yeah.
I almost wish all boxing was done this way, because when boxing is a live sport and you watch it on television, the director never knows what's going to happen, so they sort of shoot it wide. When you're watching this show, you guys have edited it so that you're really seeing the best moments.
Exactly.
And you're shooting it cinematically in a way that it looks like...
what you do is you dial it down. So if you're seeing a punch being thrown at 100 miles an hour, as it makes contact, it just rips right down, and you see the impact, whereas the eye couldn't catch it. It's so quick. And then you go, my God, that's what's causing such, you know, and that's what the sport is about, and you normally would never even see it. I mean, it makes Rocky seem like, you know, just like an, oh my God.
Oh, what was that? Oh.
Al-Qaeda.
Yeah. Rambo could have taken care of that. Yeah.
The old Stallone would have been there. And it's like, over the couch, bang,
the new Stallone's like, yeah, what would
you take care of
it. He's tired. You know what's funny is that when you watch the show, you're on the sideline, you're watching the fight, but you can't reveal, if you're rooting for someone, you can't reveal who, because you're supposed to be impartial.
Neutral.
So you're shouting things like, hit the person, but you can't say...
Both of you!
Yeah, both of you hit each other, but it's very neutral. It's very strange.
It is. You have to go back and forth, because I realize if I cheer one guy, I go, come on, Eddie! I'm going, Bill, what are you waiting for?
Right.
It's like having two children. You go, like, oh, you kiss one, you better kiss the other one, otherwise it's going to be hell to pay.
When you kiss the fighters, it's disturbing.
It is very bad.
It's very strange.
Very bad.
Now, I got to mention this. The Contender this Thursday is going to air this Thursday after The Apprentice.
Yeah, exactly right. What we're trying to do is, a lot of people have said, oh, is it a boxing show? It's just like when I did Rocky, they said it's a fighting show. No, it's about human relationships. So we thought we'd put it on right after The Apprentice, this week only, so the Apprentice audience, which normally would not see this kind of show, would say, you know what, this is more than we thought. And then we're going to be on Sunday at 8 o'clock permanently.
All right. Well, it's very riveting to watch. The Contender airs Sunday nights at 8, and watch the next episode at a special time this Thursday at 10 o'clock on NBC.
That's right.
You know, it's always fun talking to you. Thanks so much for being here.
Stay
right there. Sylvester Stallone, everybody. Ben Foster coming up.